Rusame reader, Crow Song, and today I will be reading to you from Black Coffee by MysterySaviour. Now, on to the start of Act 2. Act 2, Chapter 26. They were arguing again. It wasn't even the proper kind of arguing. It was the whisper type of arguing. The type used when you so badly wanted to scream your frustrations, but you still need to keep quiet to avoid worrying your child. And to keep them from asking uncomfortable questions. We should just be honest. No, we can't tell her. We don't have all the facts yet, Tori. So, we all need to be trusting of each other, and we can't do that without being open about everything. We should tell her. Tell me what? Australia interrupted, sighing frustratedly and crossing her arms. Both of the countries standing in front of her looked at the other guiltily. I told you we should just be honest with her, Torres Strait mumbled, playing with the flowers on her flowing dress. Don't blame this on me, Aboriginal hissed, sitting on her arms and hips sassily. No one is blaming anyone, Abby. Australia rolled her eyes, raising an eyebrow. Torres Strait walked forward, holding Australia's hands in her own as best as she could without a physical form. I'm sorry, sweetheart. We would tell you if we knew everything. Well, I already know something's happening, so why not tell me? It's about your brother, Aboriginal sighed, her expression softening and her arms lowering. What do you mean? What happened? Aboriginal and Torres Strait sighed in unison, leading Aboriginal to turn away and Torres Strait to gently take her hand and squeeze it, offering a soft smile. Aboriginal smiled back, and the two turned back to an increasingly confused Australia. Australia, do you remember how we came about? Australia raised an eyebrow and shifted her weight onto her other leg, placing a hand on her hip like America usually did. Of course, I used to have episodes just like Soda, but then one day they just kinda stopped when you two came. Australia's eyes widened and her arms fell to her sides as her guardians grimaced. Oh my God. Don't tell me. I'm afraid, Tori began quietly, being pulled into a comforting side hug by Aboriginal, that your brother has reached the next stage. But that's good, right? Australia stammered, laughing slightly as she held on to hope. I mean, that means he won't have episodes anymore. And he'll have you two? Or something like you two? Not exactly. Aboriginal sighed, rubbing the back of her neck. Tori and I were a special case. We came as a pair. He will probably only have one guardian to lead him back to the right path of restoring his culture. And you have to understand, dear, that some guardians aren't nearly as nice as us, Torres Strait warned, tucking some hair behind her ear and squeezing Abby's hand again. Abby and I like to support you through this because we know how difficult it can be. Some guardians tend to be a lot more aggressive, Aboriginal finished grimly. Australia tightened her fists. Where is he now? The two shared a look. Australia, sweetie, you can't. You guys can, sense each other, right? You can sense his person. Just tell me where he is. Is he at uni? I'll head there first. Jesus, Oz, think about this, Aboriginal began, releasing Torres Strait from their hug and following Australia out the door, phasing through it when Australia slammed the mahogany door in her face. Australia whipped around, glaring at the two spirits before her. I'm going to help my brother, whether you two like it or not. It stung. God, it stung so bad. America always hated this part. I mean, he hated all of it, but this was by far the worst part. The black stuff. He had no fucking clue what it was. Just that it felt so cold sliding up his throat and trailing down his cheeks from his eyes. But somehow it stung at the same time. Speaking of eyes, he should probably keep his closed. He remembered Russia being with him when the episode began, although he doubted he would stick around after that weirdness. A part of him, a dumb part, still held hope. The hope that maybe he wasn't completely unlovable. Unlovable? Where did that come from? Sure, he knew now he had a crush on the handsome Russian, but it wasn't like they were actually going to get together. Even if Russia was gay, or bi, or pan, or whatever, it still wouldn't matter. America decided a long time ago that love just wasn't worth the heartbreak. Sorry, the inevitable heartbreak. When you're finished feeling bad for yourself, you might want to wake up. What? You heard me. Who were you? Speaking in thoughts? Smart. You'll look deranged if you don't. What? No, I just can't speak English right now. So I've heard. You're a bit of a special snowflake, 13 colonies. America furrowed his eyebrows. I don't go by that name anymore. My apologies, Your Highness, the voice said sarcastically. United States of America, then. Is that better? It's an improvement, I guess. Open your eyes, idiot. But don't worry, you passed out. America bit his lip, but obeyed, figuring he might as well find out who the hell was insulting him in such high amounts of sass. As he opened his eyes, he realized the world around him was pitch black, but he could somehow still see himself like he had a giant spotlight on him. He stared at the ground, tentatively giving it an experimental poke with his foot to test its existence. Weird. Are you gonna get up, or will you keep sitting there with that stupid expression? America quickly looked up, finally laying his eyes on his tormentor. Before him stood a woman about his height, wearing a strange tan dress that flowed yet hugged her frame at the same time. She had long, shiny black hair that cascaded down her back and shoulders, with feathers strewn about it in a seemingly random fashion. Well, look who's finally awake, the woman mused, cocking an eyebrow to cast the striped country in a disappointed gaze. Why don't you have shoes? What? Never mind. Who are you? The woman sighed, placing her hands on her hips. Morningstar. My name is Morningstar. Oh, okay. Nice to meet you. My name's... Save your breath. I already know your name, Morningstar interrupted, holding up a dark blue hand. She frowned at him, narrowing her eyes. You are a real troublemaker, America. What do you mean? Speaking different languages, spewing cultura, dividing yourself, not even knowing your own history? Morningstar listed off everything on her fingers, getting progressively more annoyed. Cultura? A black substance that's supposed to stay inside the body, not leak out like rain into a forest with a thin canopy. It represents a country's past, their, well, culture, obviously. America raised an eyebrow. Okay? My goodness, you're dim, Morningstar muttered to herself, rubbing her temples. Look, I was sent to fix you. America perked up. Fix me? How? You tried to erase your history, and so did everyone else. The barefoot country reprimanded sternly. Because of that, you're losing your culture, your essence, the very thing that makes you, you. Your body is becoming a mix of everything everyone else has been implanting into you, making you sort of like pieces of different countries and not your own country. I am your guardian, a spirit of your past that only you can see. I'm here to remind you of who you are and replenish your culture, and return you to your former glory and all the rest. Basically, I'm just here to babysit you and make sure you don't accidentally kill yourself like an idiot. That's gonna be quite the challenge, America chuckled. I'm quite the idiot. Morningstar smiled slightly, almost unnoticeably, and rolled her eyes. So I've heard. Suddenly, a loud, muffled sound rang through the void, rippling the non-existent walls and sending a shiver up America's spine. He looked around wildly, trying to find the source of the noise, while Morningstar only nodded towards the sky. They're trying to wake you. You better go to them. What? What does that even...
America. America.
And that's the end of this chapter. I hope you enjoyed. Anyway, I'd like to invite you to join the Discord, which is linked down in the description below. That being said, I hope you have a nice rest of your day, night, or whatever it is for you. Just enjoy your time. And I will see you tomorrow.